What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny, and with me, I've got DJD, Farmer, and Craig. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
How was everyone's Thanksgiving? Craig, why don't you go first? How was your Thanksgiving? Did you get anything on Black Friday or anything like that?
I heard Craig got a new mic, but I think he's still working on getting it plugged in.
Yeah. He got a new mic, but he's just shy. How about everyone else? How was everyone else's holiday season?
Fast and Furious.
Busy.
Mine was busy but good. Enjoyed it quite a bit. All right, now that that's out of the way.
Pumpkin pie is all I can say. Love
what we were talking about while we were waiting for David to come in is, of course, since it was me and Farmer,
I'm on time.
We are discussing Halo. We're discussing Halo. Sure, D, sure. For the sake of those listening, it's only 3 minutes past recording time.
I got in at exactly 11:30. I watched the clock.
And
it was one of us being long-winded and talking. I think I was in the middle of something.
But while we were waiting, we were talking about that because I came in. Farm said he was here a little early, so I popped in a little bit early. And we were talking about Halo 3, or not Halo 3. Yeah, Halo 1, 2, and 3, and how quick those games came out versus how now, it takes a long time between games, which led to a whole conversation about Halo Infinite, which of course led to a conversation about all of the missed opportunities they had, right, with the game itself and, with continuing the story and all of that.
Yeah, not just missed opportunities, promises that they made point blank, like before they even started the game, and then didn't follow through, and to the point that some of it never followed, like they didn't follow through at all, like, which is kind of frustrating. Like the whole split screen thing. I mean, say what you will. I mean, it's just nostalgia, and it's I know it's but if you're gonna promise, that's the biggest thing. Don't say it if you're not gonna do it.
I mean, I think it's funny that you bring up like gameplay mechanics that they said they would do that they didn't do. When I'm just thinking about how the story of Halo now sucks, right? Like, it just like the third trilogy, right? So Bungie got their trilogy and a couple of offshoots of their trilogy, right? They got 1, 2, and 3, ODST, and Reach. 343 got Halo 4, Halo 5 Guardians, and Halo Infinite. And what even happened in those games, right? Story-wise, right? The first 3 Halo games, you can really follow what's going on, and it leads to this really good culmination. I mean, clearly they were planning it, right? Clearly there was a plan to the stories of the games, which is partially why the games, came out all together so quickly. But what about the second trilogy? What really was the plan here? What really was the story? Like, even now, thinking back on it, you know what I mean?
You have a problem when you let the audience kind of like affect the trajectory of that. Like, you can storyboard a story, and if the audience doesn't respond well to that first part, I think you just have to commit and keep on going. At least in most cases.
Yeah, with Halo 4, honestly, it was a really good start. I mean, I feel like from for me personally and many other people that I've talked to, I mean, Halo 4 was kind of a good starting off, and what we got to see at the end of it and everything kind of like left you at an interesting place. But when we get into Halo 5, that's really where it gets kind of shaky. It kind of makes me think of another franchise that continued with and got rocky on the next one. And I mean, that's really what happened in Halo 5. I mean, they kind of flip-flopped, and that's kind of how I see it. Halo 4's multiplayer was kind of lacking, where Halo 5's multiplayer, like, that was their main focal point. And then, campaign kind of suffered. Like, it wasn't that it wasn't fun, because I remember having a good time, going through it and everything. But the story was just like, what? Huh? And it's just, it wasn't satisfying in the Halo fashion.
And then the way that it ends is just like, Out of nowhere.
What end?
Or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What ending? What like? I actually was gonna make that. So what Farmer is alluding to. I'm assuming is the sequel trilogy of Star Wars.
Yes,
which is
I
actually
wasn't going to say it because I wasn't
was
sure
gonna
we wanted
say
to stem off that.
I was gonna say, wow, Final Fantasy out here catching strays, but
right.
yeah, no, Star Wars
but
makes more sense.
I actually wanted to make that same comparison though. Of it's
Yep.
really interesting to see a sci-fi trilogy, an iconic sci-fi trilogy, like deeply loved. So for Star Wars, of course, they did the prequel trilogy, right? And then they did the sequel trilogy. I'm just talking about the sequel trilogy and the original trilogy. Deeply, deeply loved. And then like just to blow it so bad on their sequel trilogy to the point that the story is just like in tatters, right? If they would have stopped at Return of the Jedi, there was like a really clear progression and a really clear story. Where are they now? You know what I mean? And like the universe, I would say, is not better off with the sequel trilogy.
Like, as much as I don't like the things that Last Jedi did, like the Rise of Skywalker made it like way worse.
Yeah,
way worse.
It didn't help it bring it to the fold by any way.
Like I just learned this week. I think I was reading an interview by Ryan Johnson. I think where I think he alludes to the fact that like originally at some point, like not originally, but at some point after he got Last Jedi, that he was offered the opportunity to continue his story into the third movie. And like again, as much as I dislike the things that he did with like Skywalker lore and everything, I think that still would have been better for him to continue his vision then, and then we can at least
100%.
see the culmination of it. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, they needed to go one way or the other, and instead of like splitting it up, like really they should have just stuck with what was J.J. Abrams who did it, the original scripting and everything.
Yeah, but I don't think he wanted to do all three. That was the thing. He didn't want.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that was the thing.
Yeah.
And
I get
that
it.
was
It's like
he shouldn't
committing
have
to
got
a
the
decade,
job,
right?
You know, if you're talking to me, you know, if you don't do all three, you don't do the story because what's a saga or what's a continuation if it's not, you know, if they're not talking together, if you don't have it laid out, you know, to be a continuous form, and you get what you get, and that's exactly what we got.
Or at least to have it laid out, right?
Yeah,
you could do that too, where like there was
I've heard
laid out
reports
story.
of Ryan Johnson had a script and he threw it out. I don't know how true this is, but the fact that he had the script that JJ, you know, was saying this is what, you know, I think it should go, and he's like, oh, I'm just going to do my own thing. And again, this is speculation, but you know, if you're not working together, then that's a big problem.
The issue is the same with Halo, right? So Halo 4, what's the big focal point here at the ending of Halo 4, spoilers for people, is Cortana dies. That's really all you got to know about Halo 4. Cortana, there's this whole journey with Chief and Cortana where they come back, Cortana dies. It's very emotional, and there's this exploration of like how human is Chief, right? And then next game, girl's back.
Yeah.
Right away, girl's back. And
yeah, a little too abrupt, a little too soon.
Like, again, talk about undoing. And I know a lot of people didn't like it, but like keep her. And then even better, there's this dumpster fire of a game story-wise of Halo 5, which I want to get back to the campaign of that because there's some parts about that I actually really liked that they did not continue. And then in Halo Infinite, it's like, guess what? She's dead again. Off screen,
right, off screen. That's the big thing. Is like you get so even if you were okay with Halo 5's campaign up to a point, it leaves you like you never know what actually happened unless you like delve into like some of the lore outside of like
the other
playing
media,
the games, you know,
like the books,
which
and
is
like,
good.
I've
enjoyed some
thing
stuff
or whatever.
Like that. Yeah, like it's but again. It leaves you, even if you liked Halo 5 and you're like first time player or even long time player and you like the Halo 5 story, then it just like devoids you of continuing that storyline, and then it just like picks up somewhere else. That is a problem.
And it pulls kind of this thing that they did a lot in the Rise of Skywalker where things don't have consequences. Oh, well, Cortana died and then she came back and she was evil, but then we like made a new Cortana and so we have Cortana again, and it's like all the best parts of Cortana, right? Just not the bad part. And it's like when C-3PO gets his memory wiped, but then like, oh, guess what? We had a backup, so he's fine, right? He's back. Don't worry about it, you guys. It just didn't really mean anything. I actually really, and it comes back to, I mean, if they would have kept exploring it, maybe I'd have a different criticism, but they didn't, right? The game just ended.
Like, that's what exists.
That's it.
Honestly, I would actually compare it even more to Game of Thrones. Because, like, essentially, there is a vision here that just falls apart. And it's like, you can't, like, there is a world where this is good. Where, like, they explore different aspects of the story, where they have a cohesive vision, where they continue on it. But, like, it just falls apart. And it's like, okay, well, that was, like, not a good direction to go in. And, like, a lot of these decisions I have problems with. And now I can't really recommend it to anyone.
Right.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
Well, and what is Halo's direction?
Cortana,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the thing about the Cortana, like, or anything in a story like this. I mean, if you've gone through this journey, like whether she's, whether she died or not, like you've got to stick with that, because if not, you've gone through all these, ups and downs and emotions, or you've gone through this journey, and then again, like you said, all of a sudden we have this replacement. What was that? What was the point of that? What there was no point, and that makes the whole journey like pointless. At that point to me, it's like,
right.
as far as lore and as far as like where you've come and where you've gone, and like the progression as the character, I think it takes away what you've kind of, where you've come and where you've like come to in this part of the series, or whatever, and you start doing that, and it's really just all of a sudden it just dilutes it. It dilutes the whole thing. And
100%.
that's what they need to avoid.
Well, and yeah, I mean, one of the things I don't love, right, just period, and it's not specific to Halo, it's just in general, I don't like when there's established rules in a universe and we go back to rewrite these rules so that a character can survive.
Sure.
Right? Another one of these that I don't like, for example, is actually Doctor Who. So Doctor Who introduced this whole thing, right? This whole world. And in it, it's like, okay, Time Lords can regenerate 13 times. They like put a number in there, only 13 times. Well, guess what? Turns out they got to 13 and they want to keep the show going. So they had to do some, something and figure it out.
I mean, yeah, no. Like, that's my main problem with Aragon.
And make it work. And then it's like, oh, so it turns out the Doctor can have more, possibly infinite regenerations because of this and this. And they bend over backwards and there's all that stuff. So, like, you can accept it if you want to, but there is also something of the limit of only 13 gave a lot of meaning to each regeneration, right? Of like, oh, wow, like this is within their lifespan. And now it just seems infinite, like it is infinite, right? The 7 years rampancy thing, for that, like that Cortana had a very short life, really meant something in the Halo games. And it really meant something in Halo 4 as she's coming apart at the seams, right? And just to walk it back and undo that, it makes all of that stuff worthless. It means nothing now.
All the emotion that you felt through those games, and again, back and forth between the machine to the human connection, and all the things that she felt. Oh, she's an AI, but she feels almost human, and like all those things that like really get you, really get you going and almost emotional. Like that's what you've got to try to maintain. But if the character is gone, do the character justice,
Right.
And then
especially if you want to resurrect
in a
them.
Bad way.
Like, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, because there is a world where she comes back and it's relatively like there's a cohesive, like some kind of like backstory with it, right? Like, let's say Didac doesn't just like disappear at the end of Halo 4 for whatever reason, right? Like let's say that that's actually not a like insular, like one shot story, and that actually extends out, right? We could do a Halo 5 without Cortana, and you're fighting Didact, and then
with
Halo
some
6
sprinkled
comes
in
along.
with some sprinkled in hints.
Exactly.
Of it.
Yes. And Halo 6 comes along, and it turns out that even though the Didact dies or whatever at the end of Halo 5 or whatever, that Halo 6, he set some plans in motion or whatever. He reacted like he somehow got Cortana back, but she's corrupted now, and she's trying to like corrupt all the AI, you know? Like there's a world where that works, you know?
Yeah,
But that's
there's
not
so
the
many-
world that they
so many
created
ways.
at all. Yeah.
Or they just skip it all over and you let her sacrifice herself to save Chief.
Right. And just be
And
dead.
they
Yeah.
have the little backup of Cortana 2.0, that is
Oh,
Cortana,
sure.
but not.
The weapon.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The
And
weapon.
you just
It is
respect
Cortana,
her
but it's not
memory,
your Cortana.
you know?
Right. Like
I think
just
that's
got
one of the things
chills
too about
because, like-
5 that gets me, you know? That
So-
5 just kind of like, yeah.
The only part I like about 5 is that it does explore the idea of these AI not being okay with rampancy in the way that they're
Right.
created. Right?
Well, it's
like I
it's
do like the concept of them like essentially doing what all AI always do in every sci-fi thing. It's a trope, but it's cool because you're kind of familiar with it, and B, it makes sense, right? These AI, they start to feel more human. They want the same life, you know? Like, I
They
mean,
want- yeah,
like,
they want a
they
little
want to
freedom.
exist, you know?
Well,
They
it's-
become like
it's just fear
concerned
of
with
death.
self-preservation. Exactly.
right. It's
yes.
fear of death. Like, I
And
don't
that's
want to
such
die.
that's a relatable concept. And I like that Halo 5 touches on it. I think that Halo 5 does a really bad job with it, you know? And it's
Right.
way too soon after the death of Cortana to be exploring that like right away. And then also
and
like
to-
with the
That-
way
that's
that
the
they
biggest
like
thing too for me.
execute
It's
it
just
is
like
just
too soon.
terrible overall, you know? Like I mean it just doesn't make sense the way that they execute it. Like there's
Well,
also
and
where
there's so much
a world
going
where
on too,
man,
you know?
like
They're trying to
yeah,
cohesively make all these stories intertwined with, like, again, too soon, but also like, what are we doing?
well and
Well, that
like,
and no, sorry. Go ahead, dude.
yeah.
Finish your thought.
with Halo 5, there's also the split between the marketing and the actual game. And I just read an interview recently where like one of the devs was like, yeah, we were working on a game and we saw the marketing and we were all like, that's not what we're doing. It's like, wait a second. What? Like,
Yeah, but that's confusing. If the marketing had, if they had been doing what the marketing was doing, it'd been better. Oh man, I love that whole premise.
Well, so that whole thing is funny because I didn't see any of the marketing. So like I didn't have that issue.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, D, the relatability of this creature in the games that has been kind of, you know, almost godlike, right?
Right.
Omnipresent, omniscient, like they know so much, they can do so much, and has like very little fear because like they can't die. For that creature to face its own mortality is really moving because that's us, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Of like
100%.
one day
Yeah.
we're gonna have to look that in the eyes, and so to see this character go through it, and then to see her actually have full stop a beautiful death. Like
Yep.
Halo 4, you know, so here's the thing. I've seen the thing where people talk about like as Halos go on, right? Like people will be like, "Oh, this game was actually underrated," when at the time
Yeah.
people hated
I
on
wanted
it.
to bring that up too. Yeah.
I
Because Halo 4
didn't
got a lot of
actually-
hate at launch.
But I didn't actually dislike Halo 4
I didn't either.
personally.
I mean,
I
okay. So I didn't dislike the campaign. I dislike some
Yeah,
of the
I'm right there
choices
with
they
you.
made in terms of
Right.
like gameplay and stuff like that. But like the campaign of Halo 4, I thought was actually pretty good. It could have been maybe grittier, I feel like, because the
Mhm.
cutscenes kind of indicated more, you know, more grit,
Yeah.
more like delving into Master Chief's psychosis. But they don't quite go there. But I think it's still a good campaign.
I didn't hate. So Halo 5 falls into the same issue that The Last Jedi falls into, where Halo 6, or aka Halo Infinite, really could have made Halo 5 great, right? It fell into that situation for me of like, okay, like I didn't really love this, but like depending on how they do the next game is going to depend on how much I'm bought into it. That being said, there was one mechanic in Halo 5 that I really liked, and I wish they would have continued, which was the Spartan Squad. And then like when you play
Sure,
multiplayer,
yeah.
people choose certain
Yeah.
characters in the squad who
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
loadouts
Like
and like the
Blue Team
revive
or
system.
Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
Blue team or Osiris, and the revive system and such. Like it was just like a small thing that made a lot of sense, and
Yep.
it was great for
But,
co-op.
What
I
kills me
really
is
liked that.
man, like they even had like this kind of in place for like ever since like Halo 3, where you play as Master Chief, Arbiter, or one of the other two, like Singeli with them. You know?
Right.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, like at the like for them to like take that away for kills me. Like
Right.
it's
And
like,
then for
come
Reach, it
on,
was
like
I don't remember what it was for Halo 4, but Reach it was you played your own Spartan in multiplayer,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I
Um,
think they went back again with Halo 4, and yeah, it was just like
was
You-
everybody
everyone's
Master Chief in
chief.
Halo 4?
Halo
Yeah.
Bungie was experimenting with that whole thing, and they were at their prime, hitting the nail
I
on the
really
head
like that.
there.
Well, and imagine this. Imagine this. You start the campaign and you choose Blue Team or Osiris. And like I know this didn't work out story-wise, but basically you could play every mission from either team's point of view, but when you chose one, you had to like finish it, right? 2 campaign playthroughs, one where you're Locke, one where you're Master Chief, right? Like they could have
Kind of
done some
intertwine
stuff
it
like
and
that.
make it like
Yeah,
cohesive in the like timeline, which would be great. Especially
it
if
would
you
have
had
been really
like
cool.
with Halo Studios and what they're doing, maybe we'll get something more like that.
You know what, man? Like this would never happen, but I think it would have been awesome for the Halo remake. Is that, and this is like a completely fictional world where this idea exists in, okay? But like your Master Chief, right? One person on your team of 4 is Master Chief, and everybody else is Marines, and then but they're way lower health.
Yeah,
But
so
as
would
they
be cool.
die, when you encounter other Marines, it's like the Left 4 Dead thing,
Right.
where like
and then like
you encounter like yeah,
that's the
that would
response.
be so cool.
That's a really cool mod. But then
Yeah.
but going back though too, like, you know what, man, I don't know. Like Star Wars is kind of similar. It's a little different because it's a game or it's a movie or not movie, but like I don't know, universe, however you want to say it.
yeah.
It's a little different, but like, Halo solution is to go back, right? Not to keep pushing the story forward, but like we're going to go back to where people liked it. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm like we talked about, I'm super excited for Halo Campaign Evolved. I'm really excited for Halo 2 Campaign Evolved and Halo 3 Campaign Evolved. But like at some point, are we going to get the continuation of where they left the story, or are we all just going to pretend like the next trilogy didn't happen? Right?
Yeah.
I would like to think that will still be pushing it forward at some point.
Which is how they feel the sequel trilogy has been treated.
But,
like we
like,
just pretend it didn't happen. Right?
But like at some point, like what does that mean? Like I mean, like because like Johnny and I were talking about this like when you were gone, Farmer. But like I mean, like at some point could mean like 10 years out from the last from the end of Halo Infinite or whatever. And it's like 10 years out. That's a whole decade. That's a whole lot of people who have no idea what happened in Halo prior to this.
But
like, how do you include those people?
it might not
into
be
the
that
story?
long.
I mean,
It might not be as long as
not.
you think because
Yeah.
they have 3 to 4 games already in the works.
Allegedly,
going
that's what they've said.
simultaneously.
Sure,
That's what they've
sure,
said.
sure. Okay, sure.
and,
Just like
you know.
just like campaign co-op, right? Just like that. Sure. Just like day one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep,
That's what they said, and we still believe them. We still
Just
believe
like
the stuff
they
tell
said
us.
that you could lower weapons in multiplayer for Halo.
And you
What
couldn't.
was that? Reach? Yeah.
lower weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, just like they said. Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, we can see what they're. It's all speculation, but at this point,
They need to announce
they
things at
seem to
this
be
point.
at a
Yeah.
better place, than where they were as 343 with this. Everything going on in Infinite. I see the positives being, again, going back to the swapping to Unreal, something that's well used in the.
I feel this
gaming
is positive as well.
They've
Yeah.
they have more manpower to they've dealt with other studios, and they've also pulled in some other groups, and they're bringing in Halo. They rebranded as Halo Studios, for that very reason of, I think, broadening up a little bit. Having more people working on these games simultaneously to make sure that there's not like a lull, but also to help each other tackle these problems. So, I mean, theoretically, it sounds like they're on track. Again,
But again, like
this is all
this
from
is
the
a problem
outside.
though. This is also the problem though with them like continually switching direction on things though too, because the idea was, at least as far as I'm aware, and I guess it was never actually like officially confirmed, but the idea was that Halo Infinite would have a long tail because they built out this amazing open world where they could continue to tell stories.
Yeah. No,
You know,
and it should.
and
It should. It really
and
should
it
have.
should have been used for that, and it wasn't, right? And
And
that's also the
it
problem
wasted
with Halo
potential.
5
Yep.
and with the Halo like second trilogy in general, is that they keep on having leadership change, because the original plan for Halo 5 was for the Didact to be the big bad, right? And then they changed that. Like, I mean, like they continue to have
Right.
these,
Well,
like,
they changed it. Didn't they change it because of backlash? Like people didn't like it.
Yep. Yep. Well, and that goes back to my original point, which was like that they listen way too loud to feedback and let the audience kind of dictate whether they go forward with things. And they start audience testing everything. And like the second that there's like a few loud voices that are loud enough, they like don't commit. And it's like,
Yeah, I
no,
totally
you gotta
agree.
you
Yeah.
have to tell the whole story. You can't, like, even if it's overall poorly received, it's still going to be better than switching your story because you think people won't like it like midway through. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I would totally agree. I would say if they would stick to their guns a little bit more and just like again have something that nobody knows what's going on and just like stick with it and just write it out. Like write it out real good.
Like-
And how could you miss? I mean, and the audience be surprised. I mean, even if it isn't as good as what as maybe something that is spectacular. Let's just say something that hit just real good, like in the Bungie days or something. It would be better than what we've got. It couldn't miss comparatively. Instead we get chopped blocks of stories, and let's kind of like mash. It's a mashed potatoes version. It's just like we'll just like chunk it in here and throw it in there, and we'll just pretty much on the cuff. We'll just like, okay, we've got to make adjustments.
Before we get too far though, I want to say that like I don't really like the mashed potatoes reference because mashed potatoes are great. I don't want to compare mashed potatoes to the sequel trilogy of Halo.
But mashed potatoes are not
like
finesse,
literally,
and they're not like.
And then
that's the thing.
I want to say before we get too far from it that I don't like what I've become to the audience. Do you guys hear that? Of like how they're like, this is what they said, and I'm just like, sure, okay, they said that. Okay, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything to me.
I don't know. I feel like, honestly, Johnny, I feel like that's a relatable position though right now because like there is a lot of confusion about like, and I think Halo Studios is a separate thing from like Xbox changing their minds on things. But I totally understand. I totally get where you're coming from. What
I talked to the farmer about before you came in is Halo Studios, right? So Halo Studios, is this a totally new studio or is it just a rebrand? Is it just a new jacket on the same studio that's had all these things? And like time will tell, but yeah, they've said all this stuff, and sure, you know what? Maybe they fired everybody and brought in new people and they only kept the people who cared. But
I know for a fact that's not true. So
they didn't fire everybody, but they did change a lot of leadership.
They're not gonna, a lot.
Listen, just because you're calling it a new studio, you're not going to fool me. Listen, you can make all of these promises. These studios have been lying to me for most of my life. Okay,
hey, but once they start carrying out these promises, then you'll be a believer again. So that's the real hope, is that they actually say these things and back them up.
Well, so like going back to the commitment of vision, though, like I've talked to people who were alive back in, because I wasn't. Back when Empire Strikes Back came out. Okay, I'm old, but not that old. And like, they were actually really upset about Empire Strikes Back ending the way that it did.
And now it's universally considered the greatest sequel of all time.
Right.
By many people. Yep. Like I would say by the majority.
Yeah. But that's only because the third movie kind of like, actually like, kind of makes it fit in terms of story. Because you don't know the end of the story. You don't know where the story's going. It's like if you read a book halfway through and went, man, like I like the writing in this book, but I really don't like where the story is right now. And you close it. And it's like, wait, what?
Well, it's not just the cliffhanger ending. It's the heroes losing.
Right. Yeah.
It's that they lost.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how Halo 5 ended.
That is Halo 5. That is Halo 5. Yes. 100%.
Except the great part is that, like, what happened to Latsky? What happened to Blue Team? What happened to Roland? What happened to
the difference
literally
there about Empire
everything
Strikes
in
Back
Halo
is that
5?
Everyone and anyone, yeah.
Empire Strike Back actually gives you something to, like, leave with. I think Halo 5, there's just not enough clarity in the story. Like, again, there's all these what ifs. Like in Empire Strikes Back, we learn a lot of things. We learn a little bit more about Luke. We learn about a little bit about his, who Darth Vader is now.
No,
like, those are huge things.
The thing is with Empire Strikes Back, you're right. But also, what Empire Strikes Back is, it builds upon the previous thing in a cohesive manner. It capitalizes on
it does
the tidbits scattered throughout A New Hope, right?
It works
and it
together
continues to expand those. Yeah, it's all part of one vision. Same as Return of the Jedi, which does the same thing for the other two. Like, it's all one cohesive vision. And I mean, like, I don't think Lucas is like George Lucas, for the record. Didn't want to offend Lucas Black or anyone. But I don't think George Lucas is like the best storyteller of all time by any means. But what he did with Star Wars was he executed a very cohesive, like, complete vision of what he wanted this story to be. And I think that goes a long way towards making your story a better thing than it would be otherwise.
Right. Even if you have at the end a B story.
Right.
If
it cohesively
also exists, and you can actually, like, oh, this comes from there, and it's just a little tidbit. But if you know this, then you know that, and it works, then you're overall better.
And the other thing that Star Wars does is it has superb iconography. Right? You see something and you go, yeah, that's Star Wars. Right? Like, there's an atmosphere, a tone to it, and Halo had that, and then it just kind of like lost it. Like, Halo 5 is such a departure from Halo 4. And Halo 6 is also, as much as I appreciate Halo 6 as a cohesive all-in-one game, as much as I would give that game by itself probably like an 8 or 9 out of 10, like, it also departs from Halo 5 and Halo 4 in, like, tonal shifts and, like, the way that gameplay works. And, like, it's just like,
that's a huge thing. For sure, I totally agree. It really, they, again, not being cohesive with their vision, they didn't set the tone.
Master Chief just gets a grappling hook, and we just don't talk about it.
I don't mind a grappling hook.
No, I don't mind it, but it's like it's crazy if you think about it. It's crazy that he just puts a grappling hook on in the opening cutscene, and he just knows how to use it, and it's just a thing on his armor. And all of these are like. It's so different gameplay wise, and again, he's
a soldier for so long. Of course, he knows all this stuff. I mean, what else is new on the?
But he's never used it before.
He's never used it before, right? Like, he's like a super old man soldier. Like, I would love to see like one of these old generals just like pick up a Gen Z cell phone and try and use it.
But he's in this armor. Like, I don't understand what your point is, because it would be so easy for him to learn, like, on the fly. That's literally his MO, is learning on the fly and being so good at it.
It's that it's totally different from every other game, and there was just no explanation for it. Yeah. Honestly, it's how I feel about Blue Team. I know that Blue Team was a thing in the books, and they like kind of retconned this whole thing, but like, the whole beginning part of the Halo games, he was a lone wolf, and that was his thing. And then, like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh man, no, he's a part of Blue Team.
Yeah, the book says nothing like that. He's never been a lone wolf, and that was just like, what they did for the games.
Leave it to Bungie to, with multiple games of theirs, be like, do you really like this story? Hey, why don't you buy another form of media to learn more about it?
Well, and I mean that very much.
Let's change it.
Too. Yeah.
And by the way, we're gonna change core parts of it, and you're only gonna find this in the card game. That that's where we're announcing it. By the way, the big bad of Halo 6, a throwaway villain from Halo Wars 2. Like, Hey, remember those guys? Hey, you guys all played Halo Wars. Yeah, you guys all played Halo Wars 2, right? It's free on Game Pass.
Man, but, and like. dude, like I like the misdirect there, where like you beat like the banished and everything, and then like you discover this like bigger threat. I really really like that. That's like cool. It's like, okay, this is a good like starting game to a series. Well, we're on game 6. Like, what
Well,
are we
that's the
doing?
problem.
That's
Halo
the thing.
Infinite
It all-
would have been a really good Halo 4.
Right. Yeah.
Halo Infinite
That's the
would have been a
thing. If
great
they would have
Or-
had that
or
tonal
Halo
shift
7.
then with the art and
Yeah.
everything at Halo 4, but again, going back to that is like Halo 4 had a different art, Halo 5 had a different art, and then Halo 6 was like, okay, let's go back to almost what we had in Halo 3, a little bit of a brush up, a little bit different, but more towards the original Halo vision. Why didn't we just do this from the get-go?
Well, it almost feels like, and I mean, I could be wrong, but like it almost feels like they very much wanted to get away from Halo 5, so they basically kind of like pretended that like okay, we're just gonna skip that entire trilogy and just start new, right? With Halo 7. That's what Infinite feels like to me. Is like a Halo 7. Like, this is a new trilogy.
Well, that
But
was
you
Halo
can't
6.
do that. I mean, like,
Yeah, you can't skip Halo. Well,
I'm sure that's why they left a gap in the story there too. It's just like, okay, we're starting over.
And maybe they're going to do that. I don't know, but there's just a lot. There's a lot there. There's a lot of these choices that they made that just didn't land. And then even with like not committing and all that stuff, or this one being it would have been a really good Halo 4 because, like you said, they hit a lot of the right notes with it, with like the asymmetric storytelling, like a little more like ODST, going and putting things together and doing all of that. But all in all, not well done.
Yep.
And especially for the third act of a trilogy, not well done. And yeah, it just makes me sad. And we've talked extensively about how pumped we are for the next Halo, what was it? Combat, God, I don't even remember. Campaign Evolved.
Yeah.
Campaign Evolved.
Yeah. I'm excited for it, but it's also, and there's going to be new levels and new stuff, but it's also not a new game. Right? It's not a continuation of the story, and I would objectively say
it is a complete remake, though. So there is that.
Sure, and there's new levels and new stuff, but I would say that leaving Master Chief like in half of a spaceship floating like in space super far away from Earth with Cortana is a better ending point for Chief than wherever he is now. And wherever the universe is now.
Yep. I don't disagree. Yeah.
Yep.
Like it's just not good, man. Not good. In the same way,
it might have been a good point to experiment with a different character,
Sure.
Well, honestly, that's kind of my thing. It's armor. Why couldn't they just leave him out there? And hey, yeah, they're big shoes to fill, but guess what? You're wearing a helmet. Hey, you're Juan 118. Like, who cares? I mean, you're wearing a helmet unless you're not. You're wearing a helmet unless you're Master Cheeks.
I was gonna say, I'm good with that. Just don't make him John's son, please. Like, that would be so tropey. That would be like, no,
but it would be funny because even if he wasn't John's son, if his name was Johnson, it would still be great, right? But like, going back on Halo 5, I really liked the squad thing, and they didn't continue with that. I actually really liked that mechanic.
Yep. It was really cool.
And
it was really cool. It kind of reminded me of a modern kind of like interpretation, I would say, of like a Republic Commando.
Yeah, and David and I were looking forward, like when Halo Infinite was like talking about all this open world stuff, and we're like, oh, surely when we load in as co-op, we'd be able to customize our stuff.
You already have. You already have the setup for that.
Like, stuff for your multiplayer, just to pull it right in.
You in the game find other Spartans.
This huge landscape, there's just this huge open world of so many things they could have done.
Is it huge? I couldn't remember with like the being tethered to the main guy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when you're playing co-op, yeah.
I
mean, geez, you enter that like world, that ring or whatever, and you find other Spartans scattered throughout the entire place, and
they're all dead,
and your friends are all Master Chief. It just doesn't make sense.
It's definitely unfortunate, But
makes me cry every time I think about it. Okay,
yeah,
like it's just
I was
like
I was playing with Hayden just a week ago or so, and we were having a lot of fun. Going through it has been, it's really a lot of fun. But the fact that we weren't able to do it right off the cuff is already, it's like tough to get back into it.
Well, and the tether is rough when you're playing with more than two people. Like two people, I understand. Like you're kind of sticking together. Like, but when you're playing
people,
four,
we didn't even
like
have
almost
it come up
always
once.
you have a ranger.
Yeah.
You know, like
you always have that
four,
one guy that sticks on the mountaintop trying to
Yeah.
snipe everything, and then he gets left behind the party.
And
No,
the
man,
tether is not that long either. Like I mean,
It's
like
Halo, it's not.
in Halo Infinite, I'm
now.
a Spider-Man. I'm just swinging. I'm just swinging around.
Well,
you know,
that's the thing
swinging from
too.
tree to
Like you
tree.
can move so fast around the map, whether it's by like stealing other vehicles or by like
Whoa,
slingshotting
stealing
yourself.
Whoa,
borrowing,
no,
okay?
No. Oh, jeez, D. Whoa, stealing. I would never.
Commandeering. Okay.
Commandeering. Yeah, I'm doing this for the USMC command here. I will bring this vehicle back. You know, and it just gets like blown up. You know.
Yeah. But I mean, like you can
feel
move so fast in that game too. Like I mean, like it's just kind of ridiculous that tether like feels shorter and shorter with the more people that you have playing.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's the only game I have not completed co-op. I completed it solo when it first came out. I've never beaten it to like played all the missions co-op.
Likewise, actually, yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah,
which is sad, but also, you know, I'm not dying to go back to it. You know, I'm not itching to go back there. So, yeah, man, this podcast turned out to be such a downer. Just talking about how Halo sucks now. You know, and then you got Farm over here just believing everything that the devs are saying about how, you know, the next Halo game is going to be awesome and not going to have any problems.
That's not at all.
It's like you can lower weapons. Like, see, when they're dead, their weapons are lowered.
I'm not on the opposite end where you are. I still have hope.
Well, here's what Farmer said something, and this is valid. I wonder how many times do you think Halo is gonna be able to miss? Before it's done.
That's a great
Halo
question.
Studios.
That's a
well. No, I mean even the IP. How many times are they gonna miss? You know, Dragon Age. You know, BioWare missed a lot, and they seem to be basically done. You know, like how many times can Halo miss before, you know, Master Chief is primarily a Fortnite skin? You know?
Well, as long as they keep getting that money.
I think there's maybe like one more like mainline Master Chief game that can miss before they like switch focus. But I think they'll try to switch focus like a couple different ways if that does miss. Like they've got like the 3 or 4 games in progress. I think all of those come out unless one of those is a sequel to one of the others.
I mean, they could always. What's that Sony game? You know, what's that $2 billion Sony game that never came out?
Yeah. Oh.
Was it 1 billion, 2 billion? What was that one? Concord.
Oh, that it did come out. It was out for 2 weeks.
Oh, it was out for
and then they unreleased it, which is actually more egregious than like canceling it. I think.
Like somebody
would
have
it out for 2 weeks and then
But I just wonder
on getting it and trying it.
I mean,
I just wonder how many times can they miss?
I think that if the next Master Chief game doesn't take off, then they pivot to something like an attempt to make ODST happen again, which is
I think with all 3 of these titles, like you're saying, that are coming out, they're going to find whatever has traction. You know, they're going to look to which one ever does the best or matches what's current in this generation, and see what gets traction, and then they'll go with that.
Now we're in the realm of complete conjecture, but Farmer, what do you think those titles like relatively are?
Halo Wars 3, Halo ODST 2, Halo Reach 2, Halo 2 Reach.
I would think, like I said, there's going to be a
wait before you go. Halo Farm. It's like a cozy Halo game.
Oh, I would play that.
You're like making a farm on some Halo ring somewhere. You know, I would actually love that. I don't even love these kinds of games, but Halo Studios, if you're listening, we need a Halo farming simulator game, please.
Just call it Blood Gulch, and it's a valley like
Blood
cozy
Gulch?
sim. Yeah.
Right, and it's like you can get like the different grunts or like the different
Oh my
covenant
gosh,
species are doing
yes.
different
Oh my
stuff.
gosh, yes.
Oh, it's so good. Okay,
So I mean, obviously you got to have
that game is
a
way better
main.
than anything you're about to come up with. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. That's
yeah.
better than
No,
all of the Halo games
agreed.
that they're working on. I'm
Agreed,
sorry. It's
actually. Oh man.
sorry. Go
I would
ahead,
actually
Carl.
You
play
gotta
that.
like
Yeah.
cozy games for that. I mean, not everybody
No, you
likes cozy
don't.
games.
I don't like cozy. I would absolutely play that.
No, you don't,
Okay.
because you know what?
Yeah.
Because you know what? The farm gets raided. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom. The
Oh,
farm gets
sure.
raided.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. So, I mean, definitely an FPS, most across the board for most of them. I would definitely say they would, for one, in development, it would be Master Chief. You know, obviously his main storyline. They'll probably try to continue that eventually at some point, if it makes it on the docket. But I mean, I would like to see myself. I'd like to see them go back to Osiris. I don't know. Everybody has the same feeling on that,
But do you
but
think they are? Like, I mean,
oh, I I really think they're going to try to do ODST or something like that.
yeah.
To
That's kind of where I
that
am.
vein,
Yeah.
or maybe like something in marine related, something in Johnson's shoes, maybe like a prequel story, maybe Harvest, something on that, like more humanity driven on that. Like probably try to like balance and go a little bit. Okay, we've done Spartan with Master Chief. Let's go a little bit more on the more like more gritty side, maybe like even more emotional, like really get in to the storyline, like what's going on behind the scenes of all these Spartans, and like tell a cohesive story, but be maybe even more um like what's happening to these people and planets, and like have this heart-wrenching, maybe, like all these things have happened, like almost like in the vein of maybe like Stranger Things, like things happen, you know um your journey will take effect across the board, and people don't come back, like true things like that. The Covenant is going, they've come to the planets and they've done all these things, and they've actually made some real huge impacts in these people's life, and it's changed them and shaped them, and something like that. I would like to see something like that. And then I would like to see them partner with Lego. I've seen
Well, I
something
could see
like
that
that
being kind
in
of
the
cool.
past.
Yeah.
Like they had
But
something like they were going to do, but they've never really partnered with Lego, and it's always been
it's Mega Blocks, right?
Mega
Has been their
Blocks.
primary
They had a
license
game that
holder.
looked
Yeah.
like a Lego game back in the day.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of doubt that's what's in the works. That's just kind of like I would like, but maybe we would see something. I hope they're working on something on the alt side of this whole thing in their universe. Let's get something from like a Sangheili point of view, or I don't know. It may not. Maybe that wouldn't be good for the actual marketing out there. But for me personally, I want to see those three things. I want to see one game directed on the Halo Master Chief main storyline. One on, again, like ODST, something more human driven, like what's going on when you're not a Spartan. And then something on maybe the enemy side, something like completely foreign, maybe a little bit more alien than we've seen.
What kind of games do you think these would be?
I think these in my
Are all
head, at least
shooters?
two of them would be shooters. I could see one of them maybe being, maybe I've heard. I wouldn't mind having like a story driven game.
I would like
I've heard
a game.
Telltale is maybe making its way back, but I don't know. Wouldn't that be interesting to have something
Theoretically,
like
yeah,
that?
we'll see. Like, I mean, Wolf Among Us 2 is, I think, their primary project, but we haven't seen or heard of that for like 4 or 5
I know,
years.
it's crazy,
So,
but like
yeah.
I wouldn't mind, something like that. But I think they're gonna stick to, It's either going to be shooters or RTSs. I mean, what else do
Yeah,
they do?
yeah.
No,
Like,
but they
I mean,
can't do RTS because those suck. Like they can't. They can't.
I mean,
Those
yes
Halo
and no,
games,
but
they
like
did
so
not
many
take
people
off.
there's a lot of people that say they love them. So, and
Yeah,
I
there are
do actually
dozens.
like them, but yeah,
Right. It's like there are
it's a
dozens of
different
us.
story. So
I think an ODST, a game where you're not a Spartan, would be interesting. But this is where the lore paints them into a corner a little bit. Like the grunts are like 5'9" or something like that. They're like 5'9". Like they're huge, and that's the grunts.
yeah, everything is way bigger than what it seems like in Halo.
I mean,
because
if
you're just massive.
if you're a Marine, it has to be a horror game, right?
Right.
Well, and again, that would be
had
perfect.
it a little bit in ODST. But I would love something like that. You said it. I would love it. I would love to get a game that explores it from the Covenant side, and maybe not even the war, but like something pre-discovering humans, or like leading up to it. Like
That
you
would be
like
really
brought
cool,
up like
actually,
Contact
yeah.
Harvest. That would be
Yeah.
really interesting because there would be almost more intrigue in like I read the book Contact Harvest, but basically the whole Covenant War is built on a lie.
Right. It kind of reminds me of
delving more into the prophets and saying Heelys and all the stuff.
Yeah, which they did a little bit in Halo 2, right? They did a little bit in Halo 2 and Halo 3 where you get to be them, but that would be cool to get to explore that some.
Even if that was like an RTS, I think I would play it just for like the sake of the story. I mean, I would play an RTS regardless, but I mean, yeah.
Now I'm thinking all I'm thinking of is like Blood Gulch or like Halo Farm where you have your little cute farm with like the different aliens.
Oh my god!
It would have to be harvest. You harvest your harvest. You're farming, and all of a sudden you're attacked.
And but I think most Halo people, like most casual Halo people, have never heard of it.
Yeah, but you could
they've heard the name, but like
it could be different maps. You could go through a bunch of different worlds.
But I think like in terms of branding, like a lot more people have heard.
Well, the problem is what I'm describing is like because then you could be human or you could be the aliens. What I'm describing is a real time strategy, but without the combat so much. Because the combat I was imagining to be like a little more almost like top downy, like you pick up guns and you fight back kind of a deal. I don't know, but like something like that or like a Halo survival game where maybe you're living on a planet and you're hiding from the Covenant, like that.
Or like
cool.
you're that first team that like discovers the flood, like
that one. The one that I was thinking of, a Halo stealth game could be really cool, where you're like a Spartan 3,
assassin.
like a Spartan 3 assassin, like trying to go behind enemy lines and take out Covenant leadership. That could be really cool.
I would be right there with what David said. I think. And there's so much love out there for that genre, the horror genre. Anyways, if there would be like a Halo horror game style, even though I know you guys aren't really fans of that,
what's that game?
That would go real good.
Like I mean, that Jurassic Park like survival game out, I will absolutely play that because it's like dinosaurs. It's Jurassic Park, like of course,
Dead by Daylight, but Halo.
Yeah,
I could see that working. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If a flood's there. It would make sense. It would just.
I think what they're working on and what I want them to work on are a little bit different. I think, like you guys are mostly right. I think they're probably working on like a sequel to Master Chief's story. Hopefully, theoretically, the problem is like if that comes out 10 years later after Halo Infinite's launch, like what's the point? I guess would be kind of my thing. Like same with Gear 6. I mean, like
you would need a recap or something, right?
Yeah. Well, like I mean, like at that point, like I mean, like what you're gonna tell them? Hey, go play a game on the previous console. I mean, like, I mean, I guess it would be backwards compatible, but still.
Right.
I think they're probably working on an RTS again or something like Gears Tactics. Like, I hope not, because that's not my style of game. But like like an XCOM kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think Gears Tactics did really well for them critically on the Gears team. And I wouldn't be surprised if Halo was like, oh, we should do one too then, I mean.
Yeah. I hope that they're thinking a little bit.
I would much prefer an RTS when it comes down to it as opposed to that. And then I think that they're probably working on like, I mean, we know they're doing the remake. And then their fourth game if they're doing a fourth, would probably be something like on the ODST side of things, trying to recapture like
maybe it's a Halo card game.
the lightning. I could see them doing that maybe, but I hope not, because like when they introduced cards in the Halo Wars, it's my opinion that was what made it kind of suck.
The only way they need to do cards at all is if they do
Grimoire cards.
I would think just
so
like,
there's been
if
all
they
these
have
rumors
successful things going on, then like, okay, things are going, and then they can actually get cards like actual physical mediums and like
that would be cool.
That would be really cool, and do what you've been doing, Johnny, and bring it to the Magic the Gathering and put it on and like on stuff like that.
That would be sweet. Some Magic the Gathering Halo.
That would be
Come
great.
on.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Yeah, I could see him.
You play Cortana. When she dies, she's not really dead. She comes back, but just different.
Use only once.
You play Latsky. We don't even know what this card does or why he's here.
But I would want a Marine survival game kind of thing, or like a Blood Gulch. Honestly, like that. That's just, oh man, I'm so excited about this game that doesn't exist.
Can we talk about how they made a whole movie about Latsky to introduce this character? They made Forward on Zidane to introduce him as like the command, as the captain of the Infinity, and and he just didn't even appear at all in Halo Infinite. Like it's actually crazy.
Yep. It would be really curious to see, like, if you start off as like an ODS, and by the end of the game you become a Spartan, like at the end of the game or something. Like that would be kind of cool. Like kind of like Buck, but it doesn't happen off screen. I mean,
you start off as an ODST, and at the end of the game, you end up a paraplegic.
Oh my gosh! You're just like strapped into like like a Darth Vader kind of chair or whatever, and they're attaching like cybernetics.
Yeah, it's and they're asking if you want to donate your brain to become a smart AI. Yeah,
it's really dark.
Please fill out this organ donor card for the UNSC.
Right. But do we have any closing comments?
Hey, that would be another thing. Like actually delving into Oni. That actually would be pretty cool.
That could be the spy game, an Oni spy game. Come on.
Yeah.
Even if it's not against the Covenant, but like to deal with, like, I mean, hey, we're all united now, but there are people who are not, who are just taking this opportunity to build up their strength. So once the Covenant War's over,
or sympathizers,
the whole revolution,
like Covenant sympathize. Yeah,
Halo Revolution is what it should be called.
Yeah, I still think Halo Farm, Blood Gulch, whatever they decide to call it, that would be. This is the game. This is the like. Can we make this game? Does anyone?
We can make it pixelated form and make it.
Yeah,
like
can we
2D?
How much does it cost to get the Halo license? How much?
Well, I mean, as long as you don't sell it, anybody can,
Well, I mean, like generally, Halo Studios is pretty loose about that. I don't necessarily.
I've been playing Pal World Farm, and from what I've learned about that game, is that is not the case.
Yeah, even if it's free.
But we need to wrap up. I need to go to the post office. So does anyone have any closing comments? This whole conversation was about Halo, and I do want to comment that I am excited about the new game, and I am hopeful for the future of Halo. I'm cautiously optimistic.
You don't want to see it dead. You just don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And when Johnny says Halo sucks, it's not because he doesn't care. It's because he hopes for a better future.
He does care. He cares too much.
He cares too much.
Just like all of us. Yeah.
Just like all of us. That's why we talked so long about it.
Right. That's why we talked so long about it. I would say that like I've enjoyed every Halo game I've played while I'm playing it. Right. While I'm playing it, I'm like, you know what? This is Halo. I'm having a good time in the moment. It's when I turn the game off and I think about some of the choices that was made in the game that I'm like, maybe it could have been better. Right.
Or which ones that you think the high points and that you can remember, and like that's the ones I want to go back to, or they pull you back. There's some that do that, and there's some that you're like, I played through it and I don't need to go back. The ones that pull you back and bring you back that's the magic right there of Halo.
Right. And we already had the whole conversation about the campaigns of the games. I mean, the multiplayer, that's a whole nother animal of like how the multiplayer has changed over each in the sequel trilogy. Maybe we can talk about that another time. But I think that's it for me. Anyone else got any comments?
I think that's it.
May the Spartan be with you.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Spartans never die.
Yeah, there you go. They just go missing in action. Have a good one, and make sure to recommend the podcast to everybody.
I sit
and
denial.
We'll see you next time. Bye. Get out of here, Craig.